Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then hello, welcome. So in today's video you all asked for it, so I've brought it to you. I've literally just done how to get the perfect, smooth, flawless base. And yeah, I am super happy with it. I've gave you my little tips and tricks on how to create this base. So yeah, I hope it helps and I hope you enjoy it. Before we crack on into the video, please make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, turn the notification bell on. And yeah, if you want to see how I got this base, then please keep on watching. Skin. This is my favourite part of makeup. I can't lie to you. I love doing my skin. Don't get me wrong, I love getting creative with the eyes, but skin, it's where it all comes together for me. So we're gonna go through how to get a perfect base. I've got dry skin. My skin's actually quite good at the moment. I mean, I have a friend here, which is lovely, and of course I always get the usual breakouts, but it's never like crazy, touch wood. Don't want to start jinxing it. The most important thing as well is your skin prep, skincare and all like that. So cleansing, toning, all like that, that's what I do before. I always use the Clinique Take the Day Off Balm to take my makeup off. Avoid wipes. Micellar water is probably like the easiest go-to. That is how you're going to keep your clean skin. Makeup wipes, to think we used to just use makeup wipes back in the day, like that is what we used and that was normal to just use that, literally blows my mind because they are so dirty. So yeah, do all your skin care beforehand, and then always have a good moisturizer. So I spoke about this in my last video, but I'm going to use both of these today. The Weleda Skin Food, which is definitely more of a thick moisturizer, but it literally makes your skin so moisturized and just glowing, and it's really tacky, so I feel like your foundation really grips onto it, so that's gonna like as well make your makeup last a little bit longer and just give you that flawless look. Like, oh, I just love this stuff so much. And it smells unreal. It smells a bit like tea tree, but a nice tea tree smell. And then I'm gonna go in with the Bobbi Brown face base, which some people just use this on its own, or the Weleda on its own. It's perfectly fine. Sometimes I do just use one of them, but if we want like extra moisture, I literally go in with the tiniest bit though, and just mainly focus that right in the center of my face. So that's face moisturizer, and then an eye cream. So a lot of people always say about like their makeup creasing under their eyes, like their concealer and their powders and stuff, and how do they get rid of that. Eye cream, honestly, it just makes such a difference. That's the one from Glossybox, which I really like. Just add extra moisture underneath, so that then when we go in with our concealer, you're not going to get them extra creases and stuff. Now my face is prepped and it's literally soaking up the moisture. If you're dry skin, go in with a moisturizer. It really is going to make a difference. If you are oily or like combination and don't want such a thick one, they do a light version of this. The Ember Release moisturizer is also really nice. Again, that one, they do like a normal one and a light one. Most moisturizers do come in like a thick and a lighter version, so I would just pick what one suits you best. And then of course we're going to go in with the Super Dewy Blurring Balm. So I went to Superdrug today. They still have it, so I picked up a new one. I mean, I'm still using the last little bit of this last one that I have, and I'm just pressing that into the skin just to move them pores. And I'm literally just focusing this right on my T section where you're gonna get your pores. You don't need this all on your face, but I just feel like it already just makes such a difference. So a lot with the skin, you have to take your time and like really push it into the skin and like work it into the skin. That's how you are gonna get the best base, because if you pat into the skin and apply it in the way that I show you how to apply it, you're gonna notice such a difference in like the finish of your makeup, how long it lasts. Such a difference. For foundation, I'm gonna go with my all-time fave, the Nars, just because you need to see it in action. And for brushes, I prefer a dense brush. So this is actually the one that I got from that B by Superdrug, an N302. So it's really dense. Or I love a PC. Oh, I think it's a PC08. So again, they're very similar, nice and dense. If I want like a lighter foundation, I will go in with like a fluffier brush. It just sort of depends what coverage you want and the finish you want. If you want full maximum coverage, a dense brush is the way to go. And then I apply it straight to the face, but you'll notice when I'm applying this, I'm pushing it into the skin. I'm not swiping. That's what a lot of people do wrong when they're doing the makeup. You want to literally like pat it into the skin. That way you're gonna get, again, good coverage of the makeup. It's not gonna have any like brush strokes and stuff, and yeah, you're just gonna get the best finish by patting it all down. But yeah, if you're swiping, you're just moving the product around, you're not actually setting it on the skin. And then I'll take one more just for the forehead and then my neck. You also want to always, if you are doing a little swipe, or the way you move the brush is downwards. Obviously we're girls, well, girls and boys, but you have hair on your face, like natural hair. There's no denying it, there's no getting away from it unless you have that dermaplaning and you shave it all off. You are going to have little fuzzies on your face, so you want to do your brush strokes down, because that way you're going in line with the hairs. If I'm brushing upwards, I mean, you shouldn't be swiping anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. But if, I mean, I don't really know how you do that anyway. If you're going like that upwards, you're just gonna be making it go patchy and dirty looking and disturbing the product, because you've got the hairs on your face. So as you can see, like I'm patting, but I'm going in a downwards motion. That is all applied. And then I don't like using a beauty blender to apply my makeup. I think you get better coverage when using brushes. Sponges do soak up quite a bit of the product, but I always go in with a brush and then I will go in with a beauty blender just to even more push it into the skin. And like I say, it absorbs some of the product, so it sort of airbrushes you even more, because the brush, no doubt you are going to have a few little brush marks. This is going to get rid of all of them and just blend it nicely into the skin. But can you see, like, this foundation on top of that Weleda and Bobbi Brown just gives it a natural glow. Beauty blender will still be your best friend even if you don't actually apply your makeup with it. I never apply it with it, but I always have a sponge next to me. Anything that goes wrong, any bit of patchiness, if you've used the product a bit too much, whip out the beauty blender, blend it all, and it will make it all better. And then for concealer, I'm gonna go in with my Tarte. So I like quite a thick concealer, and I do like quite a lot. I would say use this technique, use the way I do it. But if you are someone that doesn't like it as full coverage as I do, or like as much of a brighter under eye as me, then just go in with a little bit less. You can sort of fix it to how you like it, but yeah, still use the same techniques as me. So I don't ever really go in, unless I'm just doing a quick bit of makeup, I might go in with the actual doe foot on this, but most of the time I actually pick it up on a concealer brush. This is my Doll Beauty DB11, and I'm gonna put this all under my eyes. I'm gonna take it up the sides of my nose as well though. I'll go like that, so that adds to your nose contour when you then go to place it. And I'm literally just gonna go all under the eye, dragging it out in a sort of like triangular shape. And then I will also go upwards where like your eye finishes. Say if you was doing a wing, this isn't a winged eye look, but if I was doing a wing, and I'm gonna pull it and drag it upwards because I'm taking my whole concealer up here as well. Again, by doing this, I'm straight away lifting my face. Your concealer works as like a highlighting, and then obviously your contour is your contour. So this is where you want to be able to like bring out your face. So just the same on the other side. And I am quite generous with how much concealer I use. You don't have to be this generous, but I like a clean under eye. Always, always bring it up and out. You're really going to notice a difference. So that is how I leave my under eye concealer. I then want to put a bit of the middle on my chin, my top lip, and my forehead. Again, because these are the places you want to highlight, and then obviously your contour goes around that, because then that's going to create the shadow, and then the structure of your face will be like that. I'm also just going to tap a tiny bit right down the centre of my nose. That is everywhere that my concealer goes. And then I use a fluffier brush to buff this out. You can use a sponge, but since I've been using a fluffier brush, so this is a Real Techniques setting brush, so it's not really meant for concealer, but I like it as a concealer brush. Since I've been starting to use a more fluffy brush, I just feel like it's so much more airbrushed and smooth. So I'm going to start on my chin, and again, patting motions, especially patting motions now, because we have place that foundation down. You don't want to start swiping because you're just going to pick up that underneath product, and again it will go patchy and just not look good. So patting motions, obviously you will get quicker as you learn it more and get used to it, but really start by taking your time, because that way you're going to get a flawless base. I always leave my under eye last. The longer you leave your concealer, I mean, you do have to be careful because it depends what concealer you use. Some dry down really quickly, but with the Tarte, I sort of know how long it takes to dry down. It don't dry down quickly, so I leave it under my eyes for a little bit longer while I do the middle of my face, because that's gonna build up the coverage, because it is gonna dry down a little bit, not to the point where you can't work with it. And then we're gonna start right at the edges, just like, it's more of like a pat and a flick that I do, just to buff out the edges. And then really you're just like tapping all over it. You're trying not to move the product that you have placed down. You're just patting it into the skin, patting or where you've already placed it. Don't want to be swinging it about. And the same on the other eye. Starting at the bottom, working downwards, and then just patting where we've already placed it. I'm just going to bring a little bit of concealer on my friend, just to give that a little bit more coverage. I don't really spot conceal. I mean, maybe it would be different if I had more problems with my skin, but I feel like this sort of coverage covers my spots anyway without having to go in with extra concealer like so. And again, after I've used them two brushes to buff this out, I'll go back in with my sponge and just really press it all into the skin so it blends with the foundation and there's no brush marks from that brush. I'm then going to take a tiny little bit of a lighter concealer, and I'm literally just going to put this right in my inner corner just to really make that pop, but like the tiniest bit. And then I will just go straight in with blender, and that's just going to really brighten your inner corner to give it that extra pop, and obviously cover them under your eyes. And then for cream contour, I always cream contour to get the best base. If you've got it all in like your creams products, if throughout the day, if your powders and your bronzers start to wear off, you've got the underneath layer which is gonna obviously make it last longer and look flawless for a longer amount of time. Once you've put this on, then your bronzer on top can stick to it. If I was to just go straight in with bronzer now, it wouldn't be as intense. I'm gonna go in with my All Night Long on a PC18 brush. So again, a nice dense brush, but just a little bit smaller. And your contour, you wanna start it from here, just where your ear is, and then down to your top lip. That is where you want your contour to be. So that's like the line that you want to go for. You should be able to feel it where like your cheekbone is. That's where you want to put it. If you take it too low or too high, you're not actually going to make your face any slimmer. You're either going to just change the shape of your face to be more rounded. So yeah, it's really important that you place it the right place. So diagonally down like that. And can you see the difference already? And again, patting motions when not swiping. If you start swiping, same thing. Foundation is going to pick up and it's just going to go patchy. So we're doing the jawline. And then for the forehead, I start my contour where I finished that concealer. So I took the concealer up to here and I'm going to start my cream contour there and just bring it around the side of my forehead. You basically just want it to be as seamless as possible, so that's why where that finishes I start so it all blends nicely together, and that's going to create the shadow of your forehead to make it a little bit smaller. Obviously as well, contouring that in the end, it does sort of end up on that preference. You might not want to make your forehead smaller, so you might only do a really tiny bit. You might want to make it really small and do more contour. Once you know the techniques and once like you know the steps, it honestly is preference and how you want to create your face. But the techniques and like the patting, that all stays the same. And if you have good products, they should just blend nicely. It shouldn't be hard work. And on the chin, just to get rid of any double chins that we have. And then nose contour. So I'm going to change brush for nose contour. I'm going to go in with my Doll Beauty DB7, which is like a flat shader, but it's a little bit like fluffier, a bit thicker, perfect for nose contour. So just get the tiniest bit. I don't do a mad amount of nose contour. I get a bit scared, so I just keep it very minimal. Where it's flat, I can just work this down the sides of my nose just to create that straight line. But you want to make sure that you are bringing it all the way up to join the top of your eyebrow. Again, you want it all flowing. You've got to think your face, it all connects, so you need your makeup to connect so that it looks natural, like you can't notice it. Again, preference, how you want your nose to look. If you want your nose to look skinnier, your two contour lines that I'm doing right now need to be closer together. The closer together they are, the skinnier your nose is going to be. So I'll try and keep it straight down. I've got quite a like rounded nose at the bottom, so I'll try to keep that straight. So that's why as well we've done the highlighting, and so it just gives off the illusion that I've got a smaller nose. And then just a tiny bit on the bottom, and that's going to lift your nose. Obviously it looks a bit crazy now, but guess what? I go back in with my beauty blender, same for the contouring as well, and I just go around my face all over again, just to really push that in, blend it all in together. No harsh lines. I'm also, for my last cream product, cream blush. Always love a cream blush. Again, blush is always like the first to like wear off, so really when you go in with a cream blush, it really adds to the intensity and like keeps it on for longer. So I'm going with Iconic London Sheer Blush Shock. Apply it with a brush, and I'm just gonna tap it on either side of apples to my cheeks. So obviously you are focusing it on your apples cheeks, but you also want to bring it back all the way where same direction as that cream contour. And again, patting motions down my nose, my chin. It's always the same sort of areas that you work the product. You don't want it just focused on your apples of cheeks, you'll look a bit crazy. You want to bring it the same way as the contour, because you're just gonna make this, like the structure of your face and your contour really stick out. So this is my skin right now with all the cream products on, nice and dewy but blended. You've got no harsh lines. I will over on my Instagram do like videos and stuff so you can properly see this skin, but unreal. At this point you've done all your creams. This is where once you've set your makeup in place, obviously it's set then, you don't want no mistakes. Your creams, you can get your beauty blender and just like mold them into one, but once you set it, it's set. I'm gonna go in with the Laura Mercier and we're gonna set our under eye. So obviously, as I've been talking to you, doing the rest of my face, my under eye has probably creased again. So we've got some lines underneath. You don't want to now just go straight in and set, because you're gonna set creases. So before I go in my powder, you want to look up. I mean, it gets a little bit tricky because you sort of have to carry on looking up while you do these steps. So looking up, just patting out any of these creases that are underneath. I probably look well crazy right now. Try to not look down as much as possible. And on a damp beauty sponge, I'm gonna set my under eye. Looking up, so you get less creasing. Right, so now I've got like, I've pushed that in a little bit. I mean, there's a little bit of bake, but I'm now gonna go and properly bake. So with baking, essentially you're leaving a bit of powder on the skin to sit there and bake, and that way by baking, and obviously I've brought it up the sides of my nose, it's gonna add to the contour. So that is why I like to leave it there. It just, obviously you wipe this away, but it does leave a little bit of a cast just to really add to that contour, and I'm just gonna leave it there. The other places you want to set is where you get oily, so your chin, which I press it in on the chin. I don't actually bake. On hot days I take it all the way around the mouth because you don't want to get a Sula, but I just press it in. Don't really feel the need to bake here. And then of course your forehead, because your T-section is where you get the most oily. So just pushing that nicely in. And then while that is still baking, I will then go onto my bronzer. So again, bronzer, I'm using the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. And obviously because we've not set down here, which I don't like to set down here because I do like to still keep like a natural glow in my skin. I don't want it all to be completely matte. But because we haven't set, you still have to be careful when you are applying your bronzer. You can't go like that. That's the first thing I say to people. I'm like, do not swipe. If you're going to swipe, because my makeup goes patchy, I don't really know what I'm doing wrong. I'm like, you're swiping. I know you're swiping. You need to pat. So on just a big fluffy brush, same place as I put that cream contour, but I'm patting it onto the skin. Backwards and forwards, patting motions. And look, no patches whatsoever. Same on the other side. Nice patting motions. Because it is the bronzer, I do focus it quite a lot on the apples of my cheeks as well, because I do like to be like all over bronze. Same places as you put that contour. It is quite repetitive. Once you get to know it, it's quite easy to like follow the process of the makeup, because it's essentially the same sort of steps, but just sometimes cream product, then a powder product, cream product. Do you know what I mean? Once that is all applied, I'm then gonna go back in with my powder. And I love this sponge because it's got your pointed edge, which is really good to get in your inner corner, but then it's also got a flat. This is a Real Technique sponge, by the way. With that flat, I'm gonna pick up some of the powder and I'm gonna bake underneath, again just creating that chiseled face look. But you don't want to take this too high or too low. So again, starting from the bottom of your ear bit here and bringing it to your mouth. You see? That is where you want it to be. Too high, too low, it's not going to do the right job. And I get a lot of questions about baking. People never know like how to use it properly. You need to be generous with how much you use on your sponge. You need to really like put it on your sponge, because you can see I'm leaving a cast. Like there is powder that's like just sitting there. You're going to obviously wipe it away, but you want to be generous with how much you use. Right, then at this point is when I do my eyebrows, which I am just going to quickly do off camera, and then I will be back because I showed you it in my last video. My brow routine is literally just simple, so I'll be back. Brows are done. Very, very simple. And at this point is when I wipe this bake away. So I'm using my Dull Beauty DB10 brush, which is just like essentially a really big fluffy brush. And I'm just so lightly dusting this bake away. You want to be light with it because you don't want to pick up, again, any product. I'd say they're the main points for makeup. Patting, being light-handed. I feel like a lot of people are completely the opposite. They are actually really heavy-handed and they're swiping and like being really rough with it, but the lighter you are, the better, and just like more gentle. And I know sometimes you're in a rush and stuff, but you will get used to it and you will be able to, like, I could do my makeup really quickly now because I'm used to the amount of pressure I've got to use and the motions that I've got to use. But when you are starting off, the softer and the more gentle you are, the better. You see, it's obviously left my under eye so smooth and just cleaned up any of the bronzer that's underneath so that I'm contoured and chiseled. Right, and then once that's all wiped away, I do go back in with a bronzer brush just to pat away like any harsh lines. Obviously I don't want to disrupt the cleanliness of it. Like I want it to still be nice and clean so we're chiseled, but I don't want any harsh lines. And sometimes I might wipe the bake away and think, oh, I need a little bit more bronzer on the apples of my cheeks, so then I'll go in with a little bit more bronzer. Obviously you want to avoid this area. I'm then gonna add some powdered nose contour. So on my Molly O'Brien Ava brush, which is nice and fluffy, but it's also like, again, straight and flat, so it makes it really easy to follow down the sides of my nose for that nose contour. Just really lightly down the sides and underneath. For blush, I'm going with my Dull Beauty DB1 brush with my Dull Beauty Costa Del Dull highlighter. The same thing, so I'm going to quickly do a little smile just to see where apples of my cheeks are, bringing it all the way back. And be generous with your blush. Like I said earlier, it is the first thing that sort of starts to disappear, so if you go in with a little bit more, you'll notice by the time you actually then finish your makeup, it would have dulled down a little bit anyway. And I just love blush. I feel like it puts the life back into your skin. You don't want to be like all one colour. And then at this point, I always spray my face. Obviously right now I feel like I've put lots of powders on my face and can get a little bit cakey. So I like to spray my face now to let them products like all melt in together and it looks. I either go in with the hydrating mist but run out, or my Morphe setting spray. So I'm just gonna coat my face in this. And you wanna not move your face too much. If I start cracking up, I'm gonna have lines everywhere on my face, so you just look a bit moody for a bit, just while this sinks in. And then highlight, I'm going in with my Dull Beauty on a PC28 brush, I wanna say, but it's just like a standard highlighting brush. You want to focus this on the highest points of your face, so really lightly just dusting it on the top of my cheekbone, just to get that natural, like if you was standing in the sun hit your face, this is where you would glow. Then you want to go just above where your brow arches, and then I like to go right here as well. Again, that is somewhere that naturally hits in the sunlight. We go for the top lip. I find when you do your top lip, it really brings out your Cupid's bow again, which once you do your lips, I love. And then I'm gonna go down the center of my nose and then on the tip and a little bit on my chin. So now we are glowing, and as well, because we've sprayed our face and our face is like a little bit wet, I feel like the highlighter has extra glow in it. If you then just go in straight with highlight on all them powders, I feel it looks a little bit dull looking, a little bit more chalky. I'm also just gonna get that highlighter and highlight my brow bone just with a smaller brush. So this is a Morphe R41 brush. So brow bone and my inner corner. And that is the base complete. Obviously I need to finish off my lips and my under eye, but yeah, this is how I get a flawless base. Like, let me tell you, my pores are non-existent. Obviously this might be a lot of makeup for some people, but especially when I have clients and stuff, my makeup is definitely a bit more natural and it's still glowy. It's not too glowy, it's not too matte. I just feel like it's lovely and still looks very fresh looking. I don't know how I'm explaining this properly, but yeah, smoothest under eye ever. Laura Mercier, beautiful. But yeah, just take your time with the base and pat it so it's in your face and it will last for ages. I then do go in with another setting spray. So if I've gone in with the hydrating mist like the first one, then I'll go in with the Morphe, but today I'm going to do the Morphe and then the Pixie Glow Mist, just to give it that extra glow and set all in place. Oh, look at that, stunning. Yeah, so I'm going to quickly finish the rest of my makeup off and then I will be back to say goodbye. Okay, and that is me all done. I'm literally obsessed with this base. I feel like I've got my base like on point now. Not in a big-headed way, but I'm really happy with how I do it. So yeah, that is all my little tips and tricks. Just like I say, patting, no swiping. Take your time, really press it into the skin. The beauty blender is going to be your best friend. When you're setting, you don't want to set any creases, so make sure they're all gone before you set. That is how I get my perfect base, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. I hope that helped. I hope you all enjoyed it. Before you leave, please give this video a massive thumbs up, subscribe, turn that notification bell on, and yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.